During London's 1991 municipal election, Emery wasn't for anybody or anything, not even the election. He urged Londoners to protest democracy by burning their ballots at polling stations.
That probably hurt his reputation and credibility more than anything he had done in a long time. I can't count the number of people that were laughing at him.
The ballot-burning campaign went up in smoke on Election Day. Londoners re-elected most of the incumbents.
I think that if we had 100 Marc Emerys in the United States, that marijuana would be legal today.
By December of 1991, Emery was tired of championing new causes, so he turned to one from the 1960s.
And Steve Hagar, along with Chef Rob, will be at City Lights Bookshop tomorrow signing copies of High Times, which we have on sale, as well as you may know, many hundreds of marijuana grow books for those of you that decide to want to find out for yourself.
Emery tried to get himself arrested for selling publications promoting marijuana use. When the police refused to cooperate, he encouraged his customers and the staff of his store to charge him. He even tried to land himself in jail by giving away pro-pot material in front of the London police station.
You can intimidate the police. If you come on strong enough and can speak as well as I can, you can get away with more regarding free speech than other people. Because we don't have free speech in Canada. We have free speech if you're willing to go to the wall to preserve it. And when the police see that, they decide that it's probably not in their interest to charge you because too much negative publicity will accrue. And that's what happened. I didn't get charged, and as it turns out, my probationary period is over now. And I remained, according to the Government of Canada, of sound moral character, even though I regard that as an insult.
I think the marijuana one is a real canard for him, because I don't think in his heart of hearts he has much respect for what that particular narcotic does to people. I know he doesn't. I used to hear him talk about it. But it became one more thing that it was pretty easy to rally a crowd about and, make a big impression, and he went for it.
In early 1992, Emery was waging his own brand of guerrilla warfare on Canadian society. He urged citizens to plant pot in the gardens of judges, lawyers, police, and politicians. He attacked public schools for being like prisons and encouraged his second common-law wife to educate her two sons at home. He attacked Medicare, university graduates, and the CBC on the editorial pages of the London Free Press. He called Canadians cowards. When he lost his appeal on the 2 live crew conviction, he declared it was impossible to change the political system through the courts.
I think he got very tired of people not picking up the banner and fighting along with him. I mean, there were a lot of people who did, but he would have liked to have seen everybody doing something about it. He was just showing them the way.
Well, I'm not licked. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these.
Oh, that's a greatly influential film. I used to cry to that film. And Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is basically the story of a rube, a country bumpkin, who just has a simple, good-natured goodwill towards his fellow man and wants to do the right thing. And he finds that doing the right thing is not possible within the democratic process, and that anybody who tries to do the right thing within the democratic process is going to get chewed up, spit out, discarded, and wasted.
Somebody will listen to me.
And then ultimately the bad guys all get up and confess, because they're overwhelmed by the dignity of such a show of goodness.
Every one of these two, I'm not fit for office. I'm not fit for any place of honor or trust.
Now that rarely ever happens, but I'm glad that it has happened at least a few times in the movies.
And then one spring evening, Emery's wife, Debbie Newman, suggested it might be a good time to move on.
Well, my oldest son, he was a bit nervous about it at first. We'd watched a movie on India and that showed the poverty of the people, and he was nervous about facing that and how he would deal with that. But the youngest boy, he definitely wanted to leave Canada. He feels Canada is very boring. There's not much opportunity here for him. Even though he's only 10 years old, he wanted to go somewhere more adventurous. And so India seemed to appeal to him.
The reason I'm going to India is because it has a great deal of history, a tremendous culture, and it's very affordable to live in India. It's very difficult to afford to raise a family in Canada. I mean, I'm not a great businessman. I made enough to live on, and then I would spend the rest on these noble causes, of which I can no longer afford to do. And I'm sure a lot of Canadians are out there saying, well, good riddance to you. But they have to think, is this the kind of person they want to lose? Because who's staying behind in this country?
Are we proud Canadians or what? Let's hear it for Canada. You better believe it. Canada has been able to show the rest of the world how different people of different religions, color, cultures, and languages can all come together as a family and live together in peace and harmony and build one of the greatest societies in the world. And that's what Canada's all about.
Everybody stand up. This is Canada's 125th birthday. It's Canada Day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
The entire national anthem is one big fraud from beginning to end. So the reason Canadians can't sing with any enthusiasm is because any thinking person knows that this is a complete and utter idiocy. Canadians don't believe in this country. You know, they're willing to take the free cake at a Victoria Day, Canada Day celebration, but the Canadians' commitment to values is just shoddy and loathsome, really. And that shows up in their inability to sing with any enthusiasm the national anthem. They don't believe that there's anything to celebrate here except confusion and chaos.